Greetings to you. This is Brandon, the freight broker with Alliance Logistics, and I hope this message finds you in super health and spirit on another beautiful Monday morning that you've been blessed to see. I want to thank you so much for spending some of your time with me this morning. I understand that you have many things that you want to accomplish today and this week. So we're going to get into the business of things this morning, and what we're going to be discussing is what is the purpose of a freight broker or freight agent training? Very good question. I would like to provide an answer for that. A freight broker or freight agent training is geared toward providing you with the essentials that will allow for you to be an effective and efficient freight broker or freight agent. It is going to allow for you to service your customers in a way that they can appreciate, and at the same time help you build your business because of the value that you bring to the table. So that is the purpose in a nutshell of a freight broker training, to familiarize you with an industry that you don't know much about, or you may have some knowledge of it, but you don't have a good understanding of it. That freight broker training is going to give you the training that's necessary in order for you to be successful. I want to say that a freight broker training is not required by the FMCSA. Now, let's look into that. Let's talk about what that means. That means that the FMCSA, the regulating body, does not require you to take a freight broker or freight agent training in order to be a freight broker or freight agent. At the same time, let's look at that. That basically says that you don't have to have it. But in my humble opinion, that's like, going and saying, hey, I'm going to be a pilot and I'm going to fly people around the nation or around the world. And I've never had any training doing it. Number one, you're probably not going to be as confident as you would be if you had a training. And number two, your customers, people who are flying on that aircraft, wouldn't fly on that aircraft. At least I know I wouldn't if I knew that you didn't have the proper training. So although a training is not required, it is, one of those things that, when you really look at it, it does not pass the common sense test in order to go into a business that you want to be a successful business without proper training. So, look at that and decide whether or not it's in your best interest. I definitely think so, but you would have to make that decision. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's the purpose of a freight broker training. Now I want to talk to you about some things that I think are absolutely necessary when it comes down to what a freight broker training should cover and who should provide a training. Okay, let's start with the latter question first. Who should be providing the training for you? Now, this again is just my personal preference. If I were going to a training, and I have gone to a training, I wanted to be trained by someone who was a freight broker, someone who does freight brokering on a day in and day out basis, someone who trains his own agents to be agents underneath his banner. Because then I know that I'm dealing with a person who's immersed in the business, that understand the differences or the things that take place on a day in and day out basis in this business. So I think it's definitely a great thing. It's definitely to your advantage to have someone who is a freight broker. For example, I am a freight broker. That's what I do day in and day out. That's all that I do is freight brokering. So I think it's a good idea to have a freight broker give your training or train you on becoming a freight broker or freight agent. Okay, now that we've covered that, I want to talk about those essentials that a freight broker training should offer. Number one, it should introduce you to the third-party logistics industry. The third-party logistics industry is a huge industry. There are a lot of different moving parts. There are a lot of things that you're going to have to learn. And this program should be an introduction, a basic introduction to the industry, and provide you with the tools and resources that are necessary in order for you to be effective. Number two, that training should show you how you fit into the industry as a freight broker or freight agent. You are, or may be new, you may never have heard of what a freight broker, freight agent industry, freight agent does. And now what this training is going to show you as an individual what your responsibilities are, how you fit into this industry. Number 3, it should teach you how to build customer relationships. Building customer relationships are a huge part of what we do. You must understand sales and how to approach your customer, what questions you should be asking. There's a systematic way that we do that, and just picking up the phone and calling and asking people to work with them does not usually work. There's a systematic way that you should be doing that, and that's what the program should cover. Number 4, that program should teach you how to manage the movement of loads as a freight broker or freight agent. From the time a load is tendered, or from the time a load is agreed upon with you and the shipper, and they agree with price, and then they give you a tender, there are a lot of different things that have to go into effect in order for that load to move from point A to point B on time. A trucker has to come into play. We have to get an asset to move it. We have to make appointments to get the load from point A to point B on time every time. So there's a lot that goes into that, and you need to know how to do that, how to effectively manage the movement of a load. And number 5, that program should help you take all of the information now that you have and help you to organize it and basically show you how to implement all of that training that you've gotten. It should put you into a position where it's helping you to organize information to now carry it into practice. There's something called the speed of implementation, and basically what that refers to is how long is it going to take you to take all of that information that you've gotten now and organize it and put it in a way that you can clearly see it, understand it, and move diligently toward acquiring your first customer and moving your first load. If you can do that, then now you are on the path to be successful as a freight broker or freight agent. I want to provide one last bit of information. Some people think for some reason that when you buy a freight broker or freight agent program, basically now you're done. Well, that's not the case. That's just a start. And I applaud any person that has already purchased a freight broker training or freight agent training. I applaud you for that. Now the work begins. If you are willing to purchase and then go to work diligently and continue that work consistently, now you have the opportunity to provide yourself with financial freedom, because this industry can absolutely do that. There's no doubt about that. The question now is, will you take the information that you're learning and go to work? But the key is to have a good structured program in place that allows for you to move from possibly never having heard of a freight broker or freight agent to now you have a good understanding of the field, and now you're taking that information and moving yourself toward an understanding of the business, and now acquiring customers and moving loads. If you're interested in being a freight broker or freight agent, you've already taken a course and now you're looking to go to the next level and actually bring your freight broker or freight agent business to existence, give us a call, 470-427-271, extension 101. I am Brandon, the freight broker, and I would absolutely love to talk to you about an opportunity to move your business to the next level. If you have not made the decision and you're interested in a training program, take a look at our website, www.training.alliancelogistics.net. Our program is there, and it tells you about everything that we offer. And if you still have questions, just give us a call at that 470-427-2711, extension 101. I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. You have a wonderful and productive day. We look forward to working with you when the time is right for you. Have a great day.